Garrett Blevins here with a quick update. First off, I want to say that you'll be maybe seeing a little bit less frequent videos from me, only because I am now a father, and so going to be learning how to train around that. This is only my second day of the week. Had to kind of spend a little bit more time on deadlift this day and with close grip bench, simplify things and just do repeat sets to get volume in, because I didn't have as much of an opportunity to get into the home gym even. Spent a good amount of time at the hospital, but everything is good and everybody's healthy, and really looking forward to this next chapter in my life. This was the weight that I worked up to last week, which blew out my thumb. It moved so much better. Usually I am not emotional, but got emotional on this day. And my plan was to work up to a 7 RPE and thought 615 would be about right, which turned out to be the case. This is the best sumo form I have had in at least a year. Have made a lot of adjustments to get here. That was probably my favorite pull from who knows how long. It's a hook grip PR of 30 pounds, but it just felt amazing. Grip was rock solid the whole time through that rep, and the back off work felt effortless. I remember the first rep on this set of 5, didn't feel like there was even anything in my hands, and I cannot tell you how long it has been since deadlift has felt that way. So I'm very happy about that. Ended up doing 3 sets of 5 as back off work. I thought about doing an AMRAP, but I don't like AMRAPs for deadlift too much, especially for me personally. Form tends to break down, and it just is not a great idea in general. I do plan that in for some athletes and coaching, but I'm actually starting to move away from that as much as possible, as long as people know how to use RPE. So the point for today was to get my back off work from the initial set, which was probably around a 6, to have 2 RPE fatigue to where it felt like it was about an 8. That took 3 sets. I could have done more, but I'm trying to save a little bit of energy because this is a workout on Friday, and I need to squat probably Saturday. If I squat Sunday, then it's going to run into my next week of training. That said, finished up with a ton of close grip. Ended up doing 9 sets of 8, so 72 working reps of close grip. This just felt amazing. This kind of high rep work really flushes me, get that pump going, and just feels really good, and it felt nice to get the volume in after not being in training. So 2 sets with 315 to get kind of that initial 8 RPE, and then 3 drop sets with 285 until that also felt like an 8 RPE. So I want to continue on from last video where I talked about unconditional love. And I want to hit the point again that I think what this verse is really getting at, that we love because he first loved us. It strikes at the heart of what God's love is like. And it's love that's not earned. It's love that is unconditional. It's love that is offered first, before the other does anything. This love is offered to us. Because God has loved us that way, that love teaches us how we ought to love. And that should be applied to ourselves. If we look at the command, we should love our neighbor as ourselves, this means that we should love ourselves in the way that God loves us. We should accept ourselves as the way that we were created by God. And this means that we don't have to change or make ourselves into anything. We only have to be who we are. Now, there's certainly going to be a dynamic process as we kind of live into our potential. We're not born and then we never need to change, like we shouldn't learn how to read or write or talk or something. Of course we're going to change, but we're not changing our nature. We're not changing who we are. Now, kind of maybe a good example on how to see this not done properly is when a parent tries to change a child into who the parent thinks they should be. The parent looks at a child and wishes they would play football even though they love to play the piano. And instead of letting them take piano lessons, is encouraging that as they're a musician and they have this desire and this heart for musical talent, they push them into a contact sport that they just kind of hate. That would be an example of somebody not loving and appreciating the other for who they are, but instead trying to make them into somebody that they're not. Trying to have this other image of who they should be, and then trying to make them produce that image. I'll talk a little about this in the next video, but that was the original sin, according to the Bible. That Adam and Eve attempted to make themselves into God by gaining power, rather than by simply being who they already were, which is two human beings created to help each other and to complete each other in a loving relationship, that was the way they were supposed to image God. But instead, they kind of looked at this other thing and said, no, we need to make ourselves God. And that small change led them to not accept themselves and also to not accept each other. And I'll talk more about that in the next video, but since God has loved us first, before we've done anything, just for who we are, then we also ought to love ourselves for who we are. That doesn't mean we don't change, but what it does mean is that we don't have to become something we are not right now to be loved and to be accepted. So anyways, that's what I've been thinking about lately, and I'll continue on with this. Hope wherever you're at, you all are doing well. Blessings.